India, they have grown with Atalji almost. Their political consciousness, their political knowledge is built around, it is woven around Atalji. So when you utter a word called lead, sometimes it becomes unbearable also, and sometimes it becomes unbelievable also. Such was the character, such was the personality which loomed large over the political canvas of this country. Many people might have opposed Atalji because politics is a competition. If he wouldn't have been a politician, if he was just a poet, when I use the word of just, it is not belittling him, I am just telling just poet. Or if he was a social scientist, if he was a social worker, if he was outside politics, I don't think anybody in this country would have hated Atalji or would have opposed Atalji for any of his thoughts. The political climate of the country or the political culture itself in any parts of the globe, it always becomes like this, that whenever a party or a person or a leader, he proposes something, there has to be an opposition to it. That has become the order of the day. I am not criticizing or opposing that order of the day also. It is so that we have to accept it. That is the rule of the game, and that is the game also. So since he was there in politics, there was some opposition to it. Since he was a politician, there were some opposing politicians to him. Since he was contesting election, in a democracy somebody has to oppose him. And when you contest an election, to win, you have to criticize the opponent. So Atalji was criticized, not because Atalji did some wrong, not because Atalji committed some mistake. Just because he was an opponent, he had to be criticized, so he was criticized. When the NDA government was there in place in 1998, the second stint of 13 months, Karunanidhi of DMK, he describes Atalji as the right man in a wrong party. This was the famous word, the right man in a wrong party. It continues even till today also. Today also there is a blog written by Shekhar Gupta telling the same thing. Because they want a small division inside the Nationalist Party, Atalji and Bharatiya Janata Party. You have to excuse me if I bring some of the political party names, because keeping Atalji out of politics, political narrative, then I have to tell only poetry, nothing else. If it has to be a personality, then his whole life was in the political field. So some of the politics I have to mention it, not for something else, but because Atalji was a politician. So Karunanidhi describes him as the right man in a wrong party, and immediately Atalji gives him an answer within 48 hours. Is mangoes cannot be grown on a neem tree. Mangoes can only be grown on a mango tree. So right man in a wrong party, even a person who had opposed. Such was the appreciation he was getting from across the society in his 50 long years of active political career. Where to start, where to look at Atalji? So it is a big question, whether to look at his poetry or whether to look at his literary skills, or you want to talk about his oratory skills, or you want to think about the development that he has done in a short span of 5 years that he got it, or you have to describe the way he conducted himself in a long span of 50 years, almost since we have an independent India of 71 years. In that 50 years, totally Atalji, along with many other leaders, he had almost covered the whole span of those 50 years. Whether we have to look at that 50 years, it is a big question in my mind when I stand in front of you. It was 1980, April 6th. Bharatiya Janata Sangha was reborn as Bharatiya Janata Party, renamed as Bharatiya Janata Party. It was Bandra reclamation ground. As my younger friend, he recited some of the poems. Atalji faced this world. He competed in politics. He ran his administration. He developed friendship over many people. He did his the kind of work he had to do along with the foreign countries. Everything had a poetic touch to it. Every person's personality has got a different dimension. Atalji's personality was, he gave poetic touch to every single of the work he did, whether it may be a cinema, whether it may be an election, he felt it was nice. He gave poetic touch to everything. Even during election time, his poetic touch was never in absence. It was always available for the people now. So in 1980, on April 6th, it was something like a confusing situation for the people who had, the political workers who had nationalist leaning. Just around 3 years back, because of the call of Jayaprakash Narayan, and in general the need of the society, the Bharatiya Janata Sangha, which was founded on the principle of one nation, one culture, the Bharatiya Janata Sangha, which had the culture of nation, which had the theory of nation first, which had the practice of nation first, Bharatiya Janata which had the ideology of Ekatma Manava Darshan. Because of the necessity of that situation, because of the necessity of that hour, because of the call given by Jayaprakash Narayan, the consensus inside the organization also, in spite of Atalji's silent opposition, Bharatiya Janata was merged inside Janata Party. But he was a disciplined soldier. Just because he was opposed, there was no question of he giving some statement against the party decision. Just because he opposed some news, there was no question of he being away from the implementation of the resolution or implementation of the decision. An organization can never be built like that if you have that attitude. Though he had the opposition, he was part and parcel of the decision. Though he had the opposition, he implemented it in right spirit also. In 1977, after the emergency was taken back, Indira Gandhi had to take the emergency back because she couldn't face the country. And when the elections came around, the Janata Party was formed and Bharatiya Janata was also a part of that experiment called Janata Party. Now today we can tell it is a failed experiment. But on that day it was a necessary experiment. So as soon as the elections were over and the government was about to be formed, the Bharatiya Janata group was the biggest in that Janata Party with 92 MP who were of the original leadership at the national level and all the organization at the national level, also the political spread across the national level. It was the biggest group with 92 seats. So Morarji Desai, he was the prime minister candidate. He asked Atalji to become minister and Advaniji to become minister and Shanti Bhushan to become the minister, three from Bharatiya Janata. So Advaniji was the information and broadcasting minister and the proposal was to make Atalji the foreign affairs minister. A small section of the coterie there, the socialist coterie, which was led by Madhuli, they started problem at the day one itself. They started raising objection to Atalji's appointment of foreign affairs ministry, citing his RSS origin. Atalji was, at the heart he was a Swayam Sevak, nothing else. What was at his heart? It was Swayam Sevak. So in a political field, as a Swayam Sevak, he was working for the welfare of the country. So in one of his articles, he had told that I am a born Swayam Sevak. He had written it like that also. In another occasion, he had told that if you have to choose between two things, then I will choose RSS. That also he had told earlier also. Citing those speeches, citing those articles, Madhulime and Kothari, who were from the socialist origin, they write objection telling that if Atalji was given a foreign affairs ministry, then we will have some problem with Pakistan. This is the kind of narrative even today also, always we get into it. Whatever I have to do, if though it is within permissible limits of what society agree, then people start asking, no, that will offend him. I am telling you, the work, the deed of mine, inside the permissible social limit also people raise objection telling that somebody will be offended. It was the same kind of logic that had been brought forward by the Nehruvian politics in this country. You should not offend Muslims, you should not offend Pakistan by your actions. And what have we got in return? I don't know till today. I am searching for answers for it. In return, we haven't got anything. So that was the first question raised against Atalji, telling the Pakistan may get offended. But Morarji Desai, he ruled it out and made Atalji foreign minister. And till to this day, the most accepted foreign minister of India in Pakistan is Atal Bihari Vajpayee, to his credit. The most accepted foreign minister. Though he is a Swayam Sevak, though he was a declared Swayam Sevak, though he defeated outrightly Pakistan in Kargil warfare, though he conducted second nuclear test inside the country, I can quote hundreds of such things which would have offended Pakistan. In spite of that, he is the best accepted foreign affairs minister inside Pakistan in the last 70 years of independent India. It went on. The Janata Party experiment was bound to fail because other than opposition to Indira Gandhi and the goodwill of Jayaprakash Narayan, there was no other coherence inside the party. So at a later day, when people started feeling that the utility of the Janata Party, it was the Bharatiya Janata group was growing stronger and stronger inside the Janata Party, they started feeling something insecure, politically insecure, nothing else. It was only political insecurity. So they started the bogey of raising the issue of dual membership. Either you should be a member of Janata Party or you should be a member of Rashtriya Swayamsevak and RSS. And it went on for 6 to 8 months. Many of our friends have tolerated why we should have tolerated for so many months. Outside the Shaka, we can't act like something as we are inside the Shaka. There is a bigger society. There it takes its own time to take action. They tolerated it for 6 to 8 months, keeping in mind the interest of the country, interest of the nation in general. But in a Janata Party National Executive meeting, when the people of, when the persons and leaders from Bharatiya Janata Sangh origin, they were asked to choose between RSS and Janata Party, at the first instant, Atalji and Advaniji, they chose RSS instead of Janata Party. After coming out of the meeting, after a couple of days, in a press conference, when press people asked Atalji a question, what are you feeling now? He put there is a famous quote of Atalji telling that our relationship with Janata Party it is around 36 to 48, it is around 36 months, not more than 36 months. It is just less than 3 years. But our relationship with RSS it is umbilical cord relationship. I am a Swayamsevak by birth, almost by birth. My relationship with RSS is an umbilical cord relationship. But my relationship with Janata Party is only 2.5 to 3 years older. It is almost just less than 36 months. This was the reaction given by Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He was born on December 25, 1924. He was one among the 8 siblings in his family. He was known for his speeches even during his school day competitions also. It was not something after he came to politics, he learned the art of speaking, nothing like that. He was a born speaker. Even during his school days also, he was known for his oratory skills. He comes to Delhi, he participated in Quit India movement also. He was in jail for 23 days when he was around 17 to 18 years of age. So he comes to Delhi as the editor of Veer Arjun, not as a BJP politician, not as a politician, not as a BJS activist, not as some other thing. He comes to Delhi because of his writing skill. As soon as he comes to Delhi, he becomes the editor of Veer Arjun, a monthly. Then he becomes the editor of the magazines that we can read even today, that is existing even today, the Organizer and the Panchajanya. For 6-7 long years, he was the editor of both the newspapers. In his stint as the editor of that Panchajanya and Organizer, he was spotted by Dr. Shyamprasad Mukherjee. He was spotted by Dr. Shyamprasad Mukherjee. Many of the wrong notions are there. Not bad, I am telling it is wrong. There is a lot of difference between bad and wrong. Many people tell that he was a Pracharaka. Atalji was never a Pracharaka. But that doesn't belittle him. I am just correcting the notion, that's all. He was not a Pracharaka. He was editor of Panchajanya and Organizer. And there, because of his writing skills, because of his special communication skills that Atalji had, Dr. Shyamprasad Mukherjee, he picks him up as his secretary, as his assistant. Within few months, 3 days back, or from that day till 2009, when he took total retirement from active politics, it was a very long journey which is almost equal to the growth and development evolution of Bharatiya Janata Sangh, Bharatiya Janata Party, and also it was in total sync with the evolution of the modern India. 1957 he contested for the first election. He contested from 3 seats. In those days, elections were not for winning for Bharatiya Janata Sangh. Elections were a public relation exercise. For somebody a candidate, there has to be Diya Nandadip, that lamp symbol of Bharatiya Janata Sangh, Bharatiya Janata Sangh's ideology, Bharatiya Janata Sangh's leadership, that had to be carried to the society. So people have to contest. There was no question of winning, taking deposit, nothing. People used to feel very happy if they got back their deposit. But it started from there, and as one of the people wrote when they saw Narendra Modi walking beside the carriage which carried Atalji's body. If there is anything called success, then this is Atalji's success. He entered politics. He entered the Bharatiya Janata Party, started with 2 MPs. That was the thing that was written in the obituary statement of a writer. Bharatiya Janata Party started with 2 MPs in 1984. But today, when he completes his life, when his body is carried as his last ride, now a Prime Minister is walking along with the body. A national president whose party has got 14 chief ministers, and all the 14 chief ministers are walking along with the body, and a party with 273 MPs, most of the 273 MPs, they are also walking with that body. This is, if anything is success, then this is the success that writer wrote it. So 1957 was his first election. He contested from 3 seats. Out of that 3 seats, what is interesting point is the third seat, Balrampur, he was made to contest just because there was no candidate. There was no candidate in Balrampur. Atalji's first choice was Lucknow. He contested from there. Birth year 1957, and it is 33 years. He gave total 6 speeches in Balrampur. No other road show, door-to-door contact, because his first choice was in Lucknow. But he lost deposit both in Lucknow and Mathura, but he won as the first time MP from Balrampur. That was the irony. But a positive irony. He won from Balrampur, then Balrampur became his home constituency. After 4 elections, again he shifted to Lucknow, and Lucknow became his home constituency. He is only one single person in our political field across the country who has contested from 5 states and won from 5 states. From different constituencies of 5 states, he has won. That was a wonderful innings of Atalji. From 1957 to 1977, it was first phase of Atalji's active political life. From 1977 to 1996, it was the second phase of Atalji's politics. And from 1996 to 2004 is the third phase of and the final phase of active Atalji's politics. Because by 2004, his health had deteriorated. By 2006, he was all the problems that we saw, that we were seeing till recent days, all these things had already started troubling him. And almost from 2005-2006 he had become inactive, and from 2009 he took total retirement from politics. So these are the 3 phases: 1957 to 1977, 1977 to 1996, and 1996 to 2004. In that third phase he became Prime Minister. He was sworn in as Prime Minister thrice because of the situations existing at that time. At first instance he was Prime Minister for 13 days. On second innings, he was Prime Minister for 13 months, and in the final innings, he was Prime Minister by choice for 4.5 years. By election, he was for 5 years. By choice, the early elections were held. These are the 3 phases in which we have to analyze him. We have to know him. We have to study him. We have to understand him, and we have to recognize whatever he has given to the society. In these 3 phases, 1960s, it was the first phase where Atalji was recognized in Indian politics. He was an unavoidable feature. He was an unavoidable feature during that time. In the same period, to the foreign dignitaries, Nehru introduced Atalji, telling that he is the one probable future Prime Minister of this country. Nehru had told him, with whom Atalji had long-standing political rivalry. When I will tell rivalry, in case of Atalji's personality, it was only political rivalry, nothing else. It was only political rivalry. The politics in those days was, we could have practiced such kind of politics during those days. Even Nehru himself has introduced to some of the foreign dignitaries, introducing Atalji as he is one among the probable future Prime Minister of the country. That he was unavoidable. But in 1970s, he became slowly starting getting accepted across the political spectrum. Slowly in 1980s, this bogey of secularism started creeping inside Indian society. Bogey of secularism started creeping inside the Indian intellectual activity. Slowly secularism became a tool for Indian politics to keep Bharatiya Janata Party out of the political space. Slowly they started making Bharatiya Janata Party an untouchable party. Atalji approached this right from day one. There should be no political untouchability. This was his famous word. There should never be a political untouchability. For the common cause of the country, for the common cause of the national interest, for the common minimum program, we should be able to join with anybody with a common minimum program as far as the interest of the state government as part of Samyukta Vidhayak Dal group. It was not that the coalitions, alliances have come into practice in Indian politics in the last 20 or 30 years. Even in 1962-1967, we were part of 7 governments under the name of Samyukta Vidhayak Dal. Atalji learned politics, Atalji learned ideology, Atalji learned the art of organization at the feet of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyaya, and Atalji learned the art of politics at the feet of Dr. Shyam Prasad Mukherjee. So, slowly as the days passed by, he started becoming the face of Bharatiya Janata Party. There was always twin, Atalji and Advani. They were the twins of Bharatiya Janata, and they were the twins of Bharatiya Janata Party. He was the political face and he was the organizational face. They used to always complement each other. They used to complement each other on opinion. They used to complement each other on the hard work that had to be put in. Atalji was more a public face. He was a less organizational man. Advaniji was a less public face. He was a more organizational man. There also they complemented each other in a perfect manner. And Advaniji himself announced in 1995, when slowly a situation started looking the horizon, that Bharatiya Janata Party may become part of the central government, may become the part of the union government. When such a situation started slowly evolving in the political scenario of the country, it was Advaniji in 1995 of the National Executive in Mumbai again who announced Atalji as our Prime Minister candidate of Bharatiya Janata Party. You might have seen the photography, many of you on social media also, where Bairan Singh Shekhawat and Atalji are sitting and Advaniji is standing. It was around 50 years back. And again somewhere in 1997-98, I think, not in 97, 2003, 2004, again when Shekhawat was there, again Atalji and Shekhawatji, they are sitting and Advaniji is standing in the same position, but different attire and age 50 years more, all three age 50 years more. These were the photos from the same Dainik Jagaran paper. And in political party, the father and son, you have seen Mulayam Singh Yadav and Akhilesh Yadav, how they quarrel with each other. You have seen it. You can see the duality with which Devegowda and Kumaraswamy they act. I am not commenting political comments. The duality with which, in Kannada Hindi there is a word Dvandva. The duality, the father talks in a different tone and the son talks in a different tone. We have seen in many families who have broken away just because of the politics. There is an enmity being growing up between Tejasvi Yadav and his brother. I am not recollecting that name. There is an enmity brewing up there. But these two persons, Atalji and Advani, they were not brothers by birth. They were not siblings by birth. They didn't share any family relationship. They had an organization relationship. Totally from two different upbringings. Totally different from two different regions of the subcontinent. Advaniji was from Karachi and Atalji was from the heart of India, Uttar Pradesh. He was from Agra region. So they had totally different kind of upbringing. But once they came inside the party, they slowly started understanding that one had to complement the other. And this relationship existed till the last breath of Atalji. This relationship existed. You cannot find anything like this anywhere in the globe, anywhere in the other organization. This is because both were financial. It was not because both were leaders. It was not because they were important office bearers. It was not because they were the top leaders of Bharatiya Janata Party. It is because both were Swayamsev and they understood it. There is a small word called Iti and Miti. It is there in Sanskrit also. One is the bottom line and one is the top line. As Swayamsev, they both understood what was the bottom line and what was the top line. Below which you should not go, above which you should not try to overreach yourself. There the organization comes into picture. Both understood it perfectly. Though Advaniji led Ratha Yatra, at the end of the Ratha Yatra in 1995, the same Advaniji announced Atalji as the Prime Minister candidate of Bharatiya Janata Party. This greatness of political system we need to understand. This system was built by these two individuals. They build the system and they become part of the system. These were the formative years of Bharatiya Janata. And in the second phase, as I told, they entered into Janata Party and there was a question of the argument, all the problems concerning the dual membership of RSS and Janata Party. They came out of it and in 1988 they formed a political party. He was chosen, Atalji was chosen as the first national president of Bharatiya Janata Party. Right from the word go, he wanted everything to be new. So he didn't agree to be named it as Bharatiya Janata. So Bharatiya Janata Party was kept. No old symbol, a new symbol of lotus. It had to emerge from the political sludge that was being occupied that was occupying the Indian politics. So Kamal always, it comes out of the sludge. So he got up. When he got up, the optimism in him. And Atalji very badly in Delhi municipal election. Delhi municipality and Udupi municipality in Karnataka. These two were the two first local bodies with the Bharatiya Janata Sangh won across the country. Delhi kept on winning and Udupi also it kept on winning except for a single term for the last 50 years. Continuously Bharatiya Janata Party is winning Udupi municipality also. In such a case, at the end of 1960s, Bharatiya Janata Sangh lost Delhi elections. What anybody would have done? You can think, there might have been hundreds of kinds of reaction when you lose an election, when you fail in an exam, or when you miss a bus for some other important event. There can be hundreds of kinds of whatever the activities the people want to do. But what did Atalji do? He took Advani ji by hand, चलो सिनेमा जाएंगे. कौन सा सिनेमा? फिर सुबह हो जाएगा, फिर सुबह हो गया. What was the title of the cinema? फिर सुबह हो गया. Yes, there will be new light tomorrow. This was the kind of optimism always Atalji had. Never he accepted defeat. He might have got defeated, but never he accepted. In 1984, because of the assassination of Srimati Indira Gandhi, though Bharatiya Janata Party had a good expectation from the elections, in general election, we were reduced to 2 seats. And Atalji himself lost in Gwalior seat. The only 2 seats were, one was one in Andhra Pradesh and the other was one in Mehsana in Gujarat, that Dr. A.K. Patel. In Andhra Pradesh, this was Janga Reddy. Only 2 MPs got elected. Atalji himself lost his Gwalior seat. But what was, immediately there was a national executive. What was his saying? What was the crux of his, the message that he gave to the workers from that podium was, na dainyam, na palayana. It was cryptic. If you look at Atalji for a long, lengthy article, then you don't find it. Then you will, haar nahi manunga, rar nahi tanunga. Then you can write article on your own. Then what does it mean? You can write it. The same way, na dainyam, na palayanam. This was a sentence as soon as BJP was reduced to 2 seats across the country. Even in Karnataka in 1924 also, there was an election. Then in Karnataka also BJP was reduced to 2 seats. The whole country was telling, hum do aur hamare do. This was the kind of this thing, fun the Congress used to make of the Bharatiya Janata Party. But Atalji told, na dainyam, na palayana. I will not show my back. He went on, and he became the first Prime Minister of a full non-Congress government. Became the first Prime Minister of the country to rule after, not even Narasimha Rao, he was also a Congress Prime Minister. He was a Prime Minister outside Congress dynasty. And Atalji was the first non-Congress Prime Minister to rule the country for the full term. This was Atalji. He got up in 1980, he gave a clarion call to the workers of Bharatiya Janata Party. That is also very famous, many of you have heard it. Andhera Chetega, Suraj Niklega, Kamal Kilega. That is the message he gave it to the party. Even today, the party workers, whenever they are in down mood, it is these sentences that pep up. It is these sentences that are used for pepping up the workers inside the organization. Such was the character, such was the personality of Atalji. Went on, in 1996, we got the highest number of seats. Shankar Dayal Sharma called Atalji for swearing-in ceremony. There was huge controversy over it because the Sonia Gandhi and the Congress were ready to give the list of the MPs that were supporting Congress. But Shankar Dayal Sharma didn't take note of it. He followed the procedure and was the largest, the biggest, and the single largest party for the swearing-in ceremony. The experiment failed, but the speech that Atalji made at the end of that 13th day is one of the best speeches of the last century. We have to read it. I don't want to repeat it here, but we have to read it. But one small exercise that he did in the span of the 13 days, I just want to remind you. Very third day, he called Dr. Abdul Kalam. Because he had got a small advice from P.V. Narasimha Rao to go ahead with the nuclear test. So he called Dr. Abdul Kalam, and Narasimha Rao had already told that you pick up that man and make him leader of the group so that the test will go on smoothly. This was the advice given by Narasimha Rao. Nowhere in politics like Siddaramaiah goes and H.D. Kumaraswamy comes. If you look at politics in India, nothing like in Tata Institute, a director goes and the second director comes, and there will be some handing over, at least something, some pep talk, something, some guidance, something will be there. If not anything, something will be there. But there is nothing like in politics. Even the broomsticks will also be thrown out by the future chief minister. That is the kind of culture we have in Indian politics. But Atalji, Narasimha Rao, they were of different characters. So while chatting, Narasimha Rao had indicated this. Atalji tells his personal secretary Shakti Sinha to find out who this man Abdul Kalam is, where he is, and if possible call him. This was the Atalji's first stint in administration. So he didn't know many facets of it. So he didn't know who was this Abdul Kalam. Dr. Abdul Kalam was there in DRDO guest house in Kolkata. He was woken up in the night, and it was not a mobile age also, it was a landline age. So he was woken up in the night and he was requested to come to Delhi as early as possible. He came the very next morning, he came to Delhi. They had a half an hour discussion on nuclear thing, but that couldn't continue because Atalji's tenure got ended by 13 days. So again all those hotspot arrangements came into thing, and there was election in 1998, and again Atalji became Prime Minister for 13 days with improved margins. The very second day, the first exercise he did as a Prime Minister was, this time he was confident because he had the number. He led an alliance of 23 parties. He was the leader of the pre-poll alliance, not post-poll. It was a pre-poll alliance. So he had that strength also and that morality to conduct the sale. Second day, he called Dr. Abdul Kalam and Dr. Chidambaram. Very second day. They had a detailed discussion for 2 hours. They had come in disguise. Because the whole world used to watch Atalji. He was the first non-Congress Prime Minister. What he is up to? There was also a big question in the global arena. So that couldn't have been done openly or with fanfare or anything. It was under disguise that in some other place the meeting took place. Again after 15 days they had another big meeting. It was on 8th April they had a second meeting. Then Atalji, in the second meeting, there was no discussion. As soon as both of them entered the room, he asked straight questions before they sit. Yeah, when you are capable of holding the test. Dr. Chidambaram, he tells, if you give permission today, within 13 days we are capable. Within 30 days we are capable of having the nuclear test. This was on 9th April. So Atalji fixes the date of nuclear explosion, nuclear test as 10th of May. The next day, Chidambaram comes back telling, I just want to inform you one thing. What is that? Atalji asks, what is that? My daughter's marriage is on 10th May. But I am ready for explosion test on 10th May. That doesn't mean I want to go to my daughter's marriage. But I just wanted to keep you informed. Then Atalji has a rethink, thinking that if Chidambaram doesn't go to his daughter's marriage, then everything will become fishy. People will start thinking otherwise. So he postpones it to one more day. The tests were held on 11/5/1998. One day it was postponed, and the nuclear tests were held. And coincidentally, luckily, everything, the first test was in 1974 was also held on a Buddha Purnima day, and the second test, without knowingly, unknowingly, it also came on a Buddha Purnima day only. So while announcing the test to the whole world, Atalji tells, Buddha is again smiling. Buddha is again smiling. See, even for nuclear explosion also, he has got his own poetic touch. Even for that also he has got his own poetic touch. As he stands in front of the podium, his first sentences were, Buddha is again smiling, and we have done a controlled atomic explosion. We have tested nuclear. But the thing, way forward, it was a very difficult thing. Because for 50 long years almost, from 1947 to 1998, for 51 long years, India never attempted such thing, except for the 1974. You're all science students, so I don't want to elaborate on this. The quality of 1974 explosion, you also know it. Except for the one small test, never in the history of independent India, we stood up to the threats or some kind of other maneuver of the bigger countries that were there in the global arena. This was the first time, though we knew that both USS and USSR, both will oppose us, but we stood against them. We didn't announce, we didn't inform anybody, we didn't tell anybody. We kept it a total secret, and we did it according to our own rules and regulations. That was the first kind of test, and we know the follow-ups. The sanctions were imposed on us. All kinds of sanctions, and institutions like Tata Institute were the first to face the brunt of such sanctions. All the scientific things, all the scientific innovations, all those concerned with higher technology, they went into a problem. The whole financial area was in a mess. But Atalji took the country away from all these problems. He didn't go down, he didn't apologize. Even in private also, he didn't come back. In every case, that was our right, they have done it. What you want to do it, you do it. We will face it. And from there, it was another fairy tale for the next 5 years. After 13 months, again it fell down. Then in 1999, he again became Prime Minister for the third time. And 1999 to 2004, as I told you earlier, these 7 years, in that especially the last 5 years, it has been a different story altogether for this country. altogether for this country. I don't want to eulogize him, because this is not the political forum to eulogize him and get your votes or anything like that. But just to tell you, mention you the facts. In the last 50 years, at 1999 I am telling, after independence, it was 380 kilometers of quadrilateral roads, that four-way roads that were built in the country. For 50 long years, it was 380 kilometers of road that was built, four-way roads. Atalji announced Golden Quadrilateral Road of 5,864 kilometers in a span of 5 years. That had to be completed by 2003. It couldn't get completed because of some of the issues, land acquisition issues, that was delayed by a year. And when Atalji stepped down as the Prime Minister, 79% of Golden Quadrilateral was completed. And the UPA government that came later, it not only junked the project, it removed Atalji's name. You could have seen it when you traveled around Bangalore on the Tumkur roads and all. The name boards were removed, and next 6 years, nothing happened than Golden Quadrilateral. It was sheer politics, worst kind of politics. But see the achievement of the person, achievement of the government. It was 380 kilometers for 50 long years. And in just 5 years, it was almost out of 5,864 kilometers, 79% of the work was completed during that 5 years. Major General B.C. Kanduri was given in charge of it. And the Shira bypass, which is near Bangalore, this was the first piece of Golden Quadrilateral that had to be inaugurated. That was inaugurated. Was it only national highways? It catered to the higher level of players? No, it was even Gram Sadak Yojana also. If you go to any villages now, if you find a asphalted road, it is because of the Gram Sadak Yojana that is there till today, with 7 years of maintenance guarantee. In Bangalore, in IT capital, in software capital of the country, you can't get a 7 years guarantee for any road that has been done by the contractor. But every single meter of the Gram Sadak Yojana, till to this day, it has got 7 year guarantee by the contractor. Within 7 years, the contractor has to repair the road if it gets devastated. That was the kind of the framework that Atalji put into the Gram Sadak Yojana. If on the infrastructure it was national highways, Golden Quadrilateral and Gram Sadak Yojana, then we have seen the mess called Telangana and Andhra Pradesh for the last 10 years. The mess called Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Even after it was formed also, in last 7 years, how Telangana and last 6 years, how Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are behaving, we can see it. Till today, Hyderabad is the common capital for both. Even now, the assembly of both are held in the same city. Even now, the High Court is there in the same city. Even now, the assets haven't been bifurcated after 6 long years. After 6 long years. And unlike other states where there is demand for separate states, these both are Telugu states. This is the mess created by the Congress government, inept at handling such situation. But Atalji, he created 3 new states in a span of 4.5 years. Jharkhand was carved out of Bihar. Uttarakhand was carved out of Uttar Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh were carved out of Madhya Pradesh. And in that, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand were highly mineral-rich states. There was huge opposition from Bihar and Madhya Pradesh, the remaining Bihar and Madhya Pradesh, because that was the mineral-rich part of those states. But Atalji maneuvered it in such a wonderful manner that there was not a single incident of asset division. Not a single division. Right from the day one, the original states were compensated and the new states were encouraged for build-up. The original states were also compensated in revenue because they had a huge revenue shortfall because of the division of Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, especially, if not Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh brought a lot of revenue deficit to the original states. It was compensated properly. That was the kind of trust Atalji instilled in those states. That is governance. When you look at Modi ji now, when he visits Kerala on the day of the cremation of Atalji, and from such long distance, I am not praising him, again I am not making a political point of it. A responsible government, I want to put it in front of you. Atalji started that responsible governance, with Narendra Modi is continuing it. Modi visits Kerala after his hectic schedule of 3 days. But our chief minister doesn't find time to go to Kodagu, which is 4 hours or 4.5 hours drive from Bangalore. For 3 long days, he kept on requesting helicopter with the defense ministry. And the defense ministry had kept the helicopter ready in Mysore. And defense ministry kept on telling, the pilot kept on telling the chief minister that because of the wind conditions, I can't land it in Coorg. I can land it in Piriyapatna. But he was not ready. He went to Coorg again. Within half an hour, he visited one small town called Kushalnagar. Without going to Madikeri, he returned to Mysore to attend a worker's daughter's reception. The responsible governance that Atalji brought, it was totally and altogether different experience for the whole country. It was a different experience. When he created smaller states, this responsible governance was exhibited in all facets of that creation of the small states. The third one I want to mention is telecom revolution. I still remember it because I used to hear it. For a 3-minute call, it was 2 rupees 57 paisa. I still remember the rate. For 3 minutes, it is 2 rupees 57 paisa. And I guarantee now, if I ask you, any one of you who are having mobiles here, every one of you have it, if I ask you, what is the rate for 3 minutes, none of you know it. It is so insignificant. Nobody knows what is the rate for 3 minutes. You all know the monthly packages. You all know the yearly packages. You all know the combos. From hotel to mobile, everything is comboed now. But nobody knows the rate of 3 minute charges. It was 2 rupees 57 paisa when Atalji took over. And when he was defeated, when he demitted office, it had come down to 60 paisa for 3 minutes. Atalji believed that the next level of scientific revolution, the next level of government, and the next level of the country's development will be based out of telecom revolution. He believed it. He believed it. So he put in charge, at the first part of the government, he put in charge Pramod Mahajan, and in the second part, he put in charge Arun Chaudhary. And today we are here as far as telecom revolution is concerned, only because of Atalji's foresight. There was a Sam Pitroda in Rajiv Gandhi's government, but he didn't go nowhere. Though he was a qualified person, like one more thing, qualified in economics. Sam Pitroda was qualified engineer. He didn't go nowhere. But a small school teacher's son, he was able to herald the telecom revolution in this country. And that paved the way for all the things that we are experiencing now under the name of digital revolution. That telecom revolution, it started the digital revolution in this country. There was no tribal welfare ministry. We have 17% tribal population across the country in the country. And the tribal welfare minister, it was combined with animal husbandry ministry. You see, many a time gestures are also important. Not only the work you do, even the gestures are also important. The tribal affairs ministry was combined with animal husbandry ministry. Atalji was the prime minister who broke away the tribal affairs ministry, and today in the union government, we have a separate minister for tribal affairs, which occupies 17% of it, which is 17% of the Indian population. Education department, he changed it to human resource development ministry. There was far-reaching development, there were far-reaching changes that were brought together. But the pinnacle was the Kargil War. Though he was backstabbed by Musharraf, he was backstabbed by Musharraf because you always go to people believing them. In society, the police department is only a minuscule percentage of the society, police plus intelligence. Police plus intelligence, they have their work cut out to doubt a person. If somebody comes inside the police station, police will never stand up to give him justice. They will start doubting why this man has come. But if somebody comes inside the house, people welcome him. Nobody will ask why this man has come. कुछ है, इसके पीछे क्यों आया? कब जाएंगे? ऐसा चिंता नहीं रहता है. So always we communicate with people on faith, believing people. Doing such things we do it. Even Atalji also, he transacted with Pakistan. He kept up his relation with Pakistan, believing in that there may be something from reciprocation from that side. Because there was another famous saying of Atalji: you can change your friend, but you can never change your neighbor's son. As a country, in a house we can change it. You can change your friend, but you can never. We can keep on fighting like this and be a ridicule in the eyes of the world. Was his also second sentence along with that term. So he tried extending friendly hand to Pakistan, and he did 2 experiments. One was Agra talks, the second was Lahore bus ride, both with good intentions. But both were not successful. We got little bad name because of that. After the Lahore, we had Kargil backed up in us. But India got its total victory, it was only in one single war after 1971. We had 6 wars, both with Pakistan and China. We had 6 wars. And in these 6 wars, we defeated Pakistan only twice, one in 1971 and another in Kargil war. The defeat that was inflicted to Pakistan armed forces was total in Kargil. Even in 1971 also, before we could enter Lahore, our army was called Dhaka. Before we could enter Dhaka on the eastern front, our army was called Dhaka. But this time, we not only pushed Pakistan away from where they had come, we pushed them out of their boundaries also. And it was a total victory as far as Kargil was concerned. And from that day, the military preparedness was also taken to a next higher level after the experience with the Pakistan, after the experience with the Kargil. These are the many phases of governance that Atalji exhibited in his plan of 1996 to 2004, 13 days, 13 months, and also 4.5 years. As a senior member of the family, he showed to the world how to run a 23-member coalition. And that too with people like, on one side he had Mamata Banerjee, and on another side he had Jayalalitha. You can just imagine that. Now you know the whole picture of Jayalalitha and whole picture of Mamata Banerjee. And both of them were supporters of Atalji's government. Then you should just उनका हालत आप समझ सकते हैं कैसा था उनका हालत. With those maverick ladies, with the maverick Samata party, and with Subramanian Swamy, now he is very, many of us are his fans also. But his behavior during Atalji's government, with all those people around him, Atalji was able to complete his 4.5 years, was in itself the greatness of Atalji. Why? He was one of the best listeners this country has ever seen in political field. Best listener. He used to react very slowly. He used to react. But unlike Narasimha Rao, he used to react. Narasimha Rao, he wasn't telling anything at all. But Atalji used to, but he was the best listener. He was the best listener. And never he allowed his ego to come in between the relationship. There was huge tussle between BJP and DMK in the second part of the government. Huge tussle between. DMK was almost they had kept one step outside the alliance. But when Mursoli Maran, who was one of the very close relative of Karunanidhi, he passed away, Atalji made it a point to go to his funeral. When Atalji started from Delhi, the whole country, political spectrum of the country was wondering, what is this man up to? Almost Karunanidhi was outside the NDA alliance, but Atalji made it a point to go to attend the funeral of Mursoli Maran and pay his respect, because Mursoli Maran was the person who brought Karunanidhi to Atalji. Atalji had this in mind, whatever may be the present time, but history, Mursoli Maran brought Karunanidhi to us. That you always remember. That was the special character of Atalji. During Janata Party regime, some of the people argued and removed Nehru's photo from the Central Party Hall, Central Parliament Hall. As soon as he became full-time Prime Minister, the first work Atalji did was reinstating that Jawaharlal Nehru photo inside the Central Parliament Hall. Many of our own party members in private, they asked him, why you took this step? He told, whatever it may be. He was our Prime Minister for almost 20 long years. We can't deny it. We can't deny his space in history. You can criticize him, you can oppose him. You can deny friendship hand from him, but you cannot deny his space in history. History will get whether he is right or wrong, but you cannot keep him away from Central Party Hall. That is not right. He brought the Nehru's photo back to Central Party Hall. Compare it with the behavior of the Congress. As soon as Atalji got defeated in 2004, the first thing they did was remove Atalji's photo from the National Highway Board. The first thing they did was remove Atalji's photo from the National Highway. He was a great listener. The second thing, he was a great consensus maker. In Atalji's alliance, there were very less problems because he knew the limitations that he was bound by. There were a lot of limitations with 23 parties. There was a lot of limitations. He knew the limitation. With this, he ran his government, and that was the first non-Congress government which ran his full term. Though Atalji got defeated, Bharatiya Janata Party got defeated, he had shown to the country and he had shown to the world what a non-Congress government can do to this country. So even to this day also, many of the global powers and many of the intellectual powers inside the country, they don't want a non-Congress government, let alone a BJP government. They don't want a non-Congress government because many of the ecosystems that are created by a Congress government can never survive in this national, in a non-Congress government. So they don't want this government at all to run. Atalji had shown it, how you can stand up to the bigger forces of the world. He kept it away in both US and USSR, but he befriended both of them, but kept at a distance both of them, because we will create our destiny. It cannot be hooked to your destiny, or it cannot be hooked to your likes and dislikes. We will create our own destiny. It may be right or wrong, but we will create our own destiny. What is talk? He went to UN, he made speech in Hindi there. He was the person who was sent as leader of the delegation by P.V. Narasimha Rao. An opposition leader was sent to United Nations to keep in front of UNO India's points of view. As foreign minister, he went there, he addressed the UNO in Hindi for the first time. Any Eastern Bloc country, other than China and Japan, this was the first occasion keeping in their native language, in their country's language. Such was his behavior. Such was his behavior. And now Atalji is no more. But we have a lot to learn from him. Not only politicians, even the societies have also got a lot to learn from him. He not only loved the country, he adored the country also. When he tells, Yaha chala chala kala kala bahati, there is a famous song that is sung in Shaki Shaka. It is written by Atalji. When he tells Chandana hai desh ki mati, when he tells Kala ke kapal par, Gita nahi gata, in every single word, he meant what he told. He is an optimist by practice, not by situation. Many of us are optimists by situation. If the situation is going good, we will be optimists. If the situation is not right, then we will be pessimistic. But no, he was an optimist by practice. Never he gave up his struggle. He always believed that India, one or the other day, it may be in my lifetime or after my lifetime in the next generation, it will attain its true stature in the globe, in the universe, in the world. He had this belief. So he had to tell, keep on working. Keep on working. That's why he told Nadainam Napalayanam was not a political statement. It was an emotional statement, which he believed. Nadainam Napalayanam, he believed it. That's why when he resigned, he told, पार्टियां बनेगी, पार्टियां बिखरेगी, सरकार बनेगी, सरकार टूटेगी, लेकिन लोकतंत्र को जारी रहना पड़ेगा, देश को आगे जाना पड़ेगा. Parties may be formed, parties may be dissolved, government may be sworn in, government may resign, but the country has to move forward, the democracy has to live on. That was the thing that he told. And we will be there, we will be sitting on the opposite side, doing our work, with which we are very much familiar with. He told it. And in whatever you do good, we are there with you. And whatever you do bad, and we are there to caution you. That duty we will do it. This was the sentences he told. He was emotionally attached to this country. He was emotionally attached to this society. And he practiced politics, not as a politician, but he practiced politics as a statesman. He didn't consider anybody as his rival. He considered some people only as the opposition parties. He didn't consider anybody as his rivals. He had long-standing opposition to Nehruvian policies. He had long-standing opposition to Nehruvian policies. It may be Kashmir, it may be economy or anything. But he was the person who reinstated Nehru's photo inside the Central Party Hall. He opposed Indira Gandhi tooth and nail because of her arrogant behavior. Because the way she used to govern this country. In one instance, she tells, 5 minutes में देख लूँगा opposition party को. He tells, 5 minutes में देख लूँगा. This is the kind of words the Indira Gandhi used to use in parliament. If Modi would have told this sentence, then you can imagine the kind of this thing it would have happened in the country. Indira Gandhi told to Atalji, 5 minutes में opposition party को देख लूँगा. But what was Atalji's response? You cannot comb your hairs in 5 minutes. What can you do to opposition parties? She was taken aback. There was no answer. There was no answer. There was no answer. In another occasion, Indira Gandhi tells him, you are too much argumentative. Please sit down. You argue like a Biharian was her sentence. Bihar is known for argument. The nature. Atal, मैं अटल भी हूँ, बिहारी भी हूँ, मैं आर्गुमेंट करता हूँ, was his sentence. अटल जी भी हूँ, मैं बिहारी भी हूँ. मैं अटल भी हूँ, मैं बिहारी भी हूँ, विपक्ष के नेता को सामना करने के लिए मैं काफी कुछ भी हूँ. Was his sentence there when Sonia Gandhi calls him Gaddar? He stood up in 1998 before resigning later. You called me corrupt. Not even your mother-in-law, not even your husband's father called me corrupt. You called me corrupt. One day you should have to take it back. He challenged us there. I could not run the government. I could not run the government. I may be incompetent to run a government. But to call me a corrupt is a different thing. One day you might have to take back. He had to take back that word. He had to tell sorry on the floor of the parliament. To Atalji. No, sorry, I shouldn't have used that word. This is the kind of personality Atalji had in politics. He belonged to a party, but he grew beyond a party. There was nothing negative in this sentence. No need to imagine negative in this sentence. Because every single child is in country, it belongs to a family. Every single child belongs to a family. But it should grow beyond a family. A mother will feel happy only when a child grows beyond the frame of that family. The way he belonged to a political party, but he was accepted by one and all. As I told at the beginning of my thing, if he wouldn't have been a politician, I don't feel like there would have been a single person in this country who would have opposed Atalji. Because he was a politician, because he belonged to a political party by choice, he was opposed as in a normal democracy, nothing else. But as a person, Atalji was not opposed, not criticised by anybody in this country. And such persons we are missing today. But the path that has been left by him, the words that have been told by him, the messages that have been given by him are eternal. As I mentioned at the beginning, he proved that Bharat Mata is Ratnagarbha Vasundhara. When time comes, when there is a need of the hour, then some person here in the country itself, he will rise to the occasion to show the path of light to the society in general and country in the society in particular and country in general. He was one such person in democratic India when many of the policies of Nehru, today we are feeling the pinch of it. We are feeling the problems that have been created by Nehruvian policies. Here was a person who always cautioned the country against the Nehruvian policies, who opposed the untouchability in politics, who saw to it that a non-Congress government could be established in this country, and he saw to it that a party with nationalist mooring, a political leadership which has nationalism as its ideal, can also become Prime Minister of this country. In a nutshell, he created many kinds of this can also be done in the country. That is the kind of legacy that he has left with us. Today we are here to pay our respect, not only to his life, not only to his personality. We are here to take that whole thought process forward in the political field. That is the thing that is left for us. Let us pay our respect today and take a note that we will continue the legacy of Atalji as far as the society is concerned, as far as the country is concerned. It is only my prayer.